What's up, Star Wars fans? Welcome back to the Hills Maniacs. I'm the master of movies, Clay, and today I'm going to be talking about Disney Plus's newest series and 5 reasons why you should watch Star Wars: The Bad Batch. So they've had 2 episodes so far of Star Wars: The Bad Batch. So I wanted to go through and talk about 5 reasons why you should check it out if you're a Star Wars fan, or even if you're not a Star Wars fan. So here's reason number one that you should watch The Bad Batch. It picks up basically from the last time we see the Bad Batch in season 7 of the Clone Wars, because we're introduced to this bad batch of clones, or a defective group of clone troopers during the Clone Wars, who all have enhanced abilities and can, one is very good at shooting, one is a good leader, one is like a tech type guy, he's like really smart, one is really big and strong, so all these different defects, if you will, that the clones weren't supposed to have. And so they call them the Bad Batch because of these defects. And so basically the series starts picking up, pretty much. I mean, we didn't really see them at the end of season 7 of the Clone Wars, but the last time we see them, they do take Echo, who was a normal clone trooper, but things happened to him, and he ended up going kind of insane. So he ended up joining their group because now he was different, and so it picks up with them going on a new mission. Echo's still part of their team. It introduces them again, so don't worry. If you haven't seen the Clone Wars, you can still figure out who they are and why they're, the way they are, because the series does talk about that. Reason number two, that you should check out the Bad Batch, is because it really focuses on the struggles of clone troopers after Order 66, between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. Closer to the end of the Clone Wars, when the Jedi are getting killed by the clones, these clones' inhibitor chips, because of their enhanced abilities, don't work all the time. So when they say to execute Order 66, these guys don't get it because their inhibitor chips don't work like the other clones do. And for those of you that don't know, all the clones, when they were made on Kamino, had inhibitor chips put in that allowed Palpatine and the Senate to control the clones. And so when their inhibitor chips don't work, they don't follow Order 66. And so now they're considered like traitors or rebels or whatever. And so they're different. And it really focuses on like the struggle of a clone as the clones are kind of dying off and stormtroopers are kind of coming in, as normal people instead of other clones. And the ways are changing, and a lot of them are being killed off, or like the Bad Batch is now being hunted because of their enhanced abilities. So it's really good at showing that kind of struggle. We've never really had like feelings for other groups in Star Wars, like the Jedi or the Sith. Like you're supposed to love the Jedi and hate the Sith. And we've never really had that feeling for clones. They're just kind of like, oh, they're here. But this really hints on showing a lot of those struggles after that time period when the Republic is changed into the First Galactic Empire, and what the changes bring to the clone troopers after Order 66. Reason number three for you to watch Bad Batch is it shows and focuses on this group, the Bad Batch, but it also introduces other characters, some of whom we've met before and some of whom we haven't. For example, the first episode started off with the Bad Batch being part of a team led by Jedi Master Depa Billaba, who was actually the Jedi Master of her apprentice Caleb Doom, who ends up becoming Kanan Jarrus, or Kanan Jarrus, in Star Wars Rebels, who trains Ezra. And so it starts off, with the story that Kanan tells Ezra about clones and how they turned on his master, and we get to see that, with this first scene in this movie when the other clones turn on them, but the Bad Batch tries to save them. Well, most of them do. One of them's inhibitor chips actually works. They end up saving them because they have no clue what's going on. And so it focuses on those characters. There's another young girl who was also a clone of somebody that they meet on Camino, who ends up joining their group. Her name is Omega. So we don't know yet who she could be a clone of. I mean, I might do a video on that later on down the line. Who, if they don't reveal soon who she's a clone of. So who could she be, or who could she grow up to be? But that's another thing. So they build up these other characters, that we didn't know as much, like Depa Balaba. We didn't know her before this episode. We had heard her mentioned in Rebels from Kanan Jarrus, because it was his master. And then Caleb Doom, if you hadn't seen Rebels, you wouldn't have known that was Ezra. But spoiler alert for you, his real name is Caleb Doom. And he changes it when Order 66 happens so that they can't track him down. But it's just really good at not only focusing on the main characters in the Bad Batch, but also giving you these other characters that might not seem important at that time, either for this series or for Star Wars in general, but then you realize that they're main characters, especially Kanan, like when he grows up, later on. Because this would be before Rebels, obviously. So the fourth thing I wanted to talk about, and the fourth reason you should watch Bad Batch, it is because it's very captivating and keeps you wanting more. And the Clone Wars was always like that for me, where I'm like, ooh, I want to know what's going to happen in this series. And for me, the Clone Wars, it was one of my favorite series. I check out my ranking of Rebels, Clone Wars, and The Mandalorian. But the Clone Wars has just always been one of those things that I was really interested in, and then they cut it short for season 6, and then brought back, I think, 8 episodes or whatever for season 7, where they introduced the Bad Batch. And so it was kind of cool that they decided to stay in that time period and create a new series based off of that group and give us more background on that, and it keeps you wanting more. They've only had 2 episodes, and I'm already doing a 5 reasons why you should watch it. That's how great this series has been so far, and I'm really enjoying the Bad Batch. If you weren't a fan of the Clone Wars, you might not like it as much, but I like it just because it is one of those Clone Wars type shows, and it's the same time period as the Clone Wars, because season 7 ended during Order 66, so it gives you that wanting more feeling to it, and it's like, oh, what's gonna happen next? And then we have to wait until next week to see the next episode, which sucks, but that's how every TV show is. So the fifth and final reason that you should watch Star Wars The Bad Batch is, and this is the most important one, is because it is Star Wars, it is canon, and it is part of the Clone Wars series. Now, I've hinted on all of this stuff before. I literally just said that it's part of the Clone Wars series. But that, for me, I think is the most important reason. If you're a Star Wars fan, whether you like it or not, you should at least check out The Bad Batch. There's been crappy movies out there, and we've all seen them. I'm looking at you, Last Jedi. And I might not like The Last Jedi, but it's not going to stop me from liking Star Wars as a whole. So at least check out Star Wars The Bad Batch if you are a Star Wars fan. And if you're not, and you just want a new show to watch or something, check it out. It can't hurt anything. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But I think it'll turn out to be a really good series. I hope they do more than one season of it, because it does say season one if you when you click on it. So they might be planning multiple seasons. I'm not quite sure, but I hope they do. So, anyways, there you go, guys. That is my 5 reasons why I think you should check out Star Wars: The Bad Batch. I know they're 2 episodes in, but it's still a great series so far. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave in the comments if you've checked out The Bad Batch and what you thought of it. And if you haven't, let me know if you're a Star Wars fan, or even if you like the Clone Wars. And I'll see you guys in the next video.
Subscribe.